Well, the good news is baseball is back. The bad news is the 4 days off did not magically fix all the Seattle Mariners problems. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post game recap. Mariners lose this one tonight 3-0 to the Houston Astros. They fall to 52-47 on the season. And because of the winning percentage, the Mariners are actually, even though they do still technically have the tiebreaker, they are in second place. So we bid adieu to first place. It's been real. I didn't think a 10-game lead could go away in 22 games, but never underestimate the Seattle Mariners. At least we're in a position now we're more familiar with in second place. Some people just make better twos than number ones. I would say actually over the course of most of our lifetimes, we're probably more used to fourth or fifth place. Um, but the Mariners are now in second place in the American League West. Very, very disappointing. Before I dive any further, do me a favor, smash the like button. Mariners may be struggling, but the like button does help out my channel tremendously. Comment your thoughts on the game down below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Trying to get on the road to 4,000 subs. The Mariners' poor play recently has not helped that, but if you guys are new here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Kind of the same old, right? I mean, starting pitcher throws the ball well. Funny enough, the Astros win at 3-0. The 3 runs were all scored in one half of an inning. I believe it was the top of the third. Let me pull out the box score here for you guys. It was, all in the top third. That was the only half an inning that had runs this game. I do apologize real quick. The sound is a little bit off. I'm missing a cord, or my cord for my mic broke. Ordered a new one, so hopefully that's in soon. Since sound quality should improve here. Hopefully tomorrow, if not by Monday, I would say for sure. So I do apologize if the sound quality is not as good. But, Luis Castillo threw the ball well. 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 run, 3 earned, 1 walk, 3 Ks. Unfortunately takes a loss there. Really, I don't even think a lot of hard contact against him. The Trey Cabbage double in that inning was really the only thing that was really kind of belted against him. Altuve gets the bunt hit. And that's what he was trying to do there. I'm not going to take away the hit from Altuve or anything, but nothing really hit hard, and a base hit the other way. Walks Yordan Alvarez, can't really get on pitcher for walking Yordan. And then an error, a couple runs score, and boom, game over. I was thinking about it earlier today, and this game kind of ends up playing out perfectly for what I wanted to talk about. Have the Mariners had a starting pitcher this year pitch poorly and still gotten a win? And Castillo did not pitch poorly tonight. Truth, I thought he pitched really well. I would like to see a few more strikeouts, but the Astros put the ball in play and are a really good offense. So overall, listen, you should be able to win games, and that's kind of my point. Like, I feel like if Mariners starting pitcher gives up 3 earned runs in 7 innings, they almost have no chance to win. I know they had a few games on the road trip where they put up a lot of runs. The Angels, they scored 11 Castillo's last start. San Diego, they had a nice offensive game. But I can't think of a start this year where a Mariners starter has been off a little bit and still gotten a win. The only one I can maybe think of, I think Bryce Miller in Cleveland wasn't great and got a W. But seriously, if you guys remember one, put it in the comments. And again, this has nothing to do with Castillo start. I thought he was fine. And I don't view wins and losses as the way to measure a pitcher. But I can't remember the last time the Mariners had a starting pitcher go like 5 innings, give up 4 earned runs, and still get a win. I really don't. It feels like every win the Mariners starting staff gets has to be 7 shutout innings. And the point I'm trying to make is that's just not fair to your starting pitching. They have to be perfect to get a win. Castillo pitched well enough. He pitched well enough tonight. And same old for the offense. Not a lot of them, but they get some innings with some base runners. They just can't capitalize. They get, I think, in the bottom of the third, the base is loaded, can't score. They had first and second, nobody out in the 5th, couldn't score. Even if you get 1 run in both instances, maybe you make that 9th inning a little more interesting. Who knows? Now, Hunter Brown has been fantastic last few months. In fact, really, I think he had a start against the Mariners in Seattle. He's actually third start against the Mariners. He pitched against them in Houston. Wasn't great. I think he wiggled around. I think he only gave up 2 earned runs in the start in Houston, but he didn't pitch that well, if I remember correctly. Then in Seattle last month or 2 months ago, he pitched really well. And he's really been on a roll since then. And I think I talked about in that video that I thought I've always liked Hunter Brown's stuff. I'm not shocked that he's kind of turned it around and delivering a solid season. I do think he's a good pitcher, so not shocked by any of this. So listen, this wasn't the game. I feel like a broken record. It wasn't a game, again, that I expected the Mariners put up 5, 6, 7 runs or anything like that. but they had some opportunities to get a couple runs. And, you get a 3-2. Sometimes, maybe the opposing pitcher pitches a little more nervous and you get another run somewhere. But when you got a 3-run lead, it becomes a little bit easier to pitch, whether you're the Mariners or an opponent. You've got some wiggle room. You hang one and hits it out, not a big deal. So you're a little bit more comfortable on the mound. And that's the other thing. Every pitcher against the Mariners just looks so comfortable out on the mound. Even when they get behind in counts, they're not afraid to mix it up a little bit because there's just not a lot of fear, I feel like, against the Seattle Mariners offense. And, like I said, just kind of the same as it ever was a little bit all season. It's either not getting base runners or runs, or it's getting base runners and not getting runs. It's both. It's just, regardless of what it is, it's just, the team not able to, put a couple runs across the board, unfortunately. Sorry, I had to pause the video for a second there. I apologize. The printer was being weird. I don't know why the printer's going off. Who knows? The printer more active than the Mariners offense tonight. But there's just not much else to say, right? Just kind of what they've been. I guess they struck out less tonight. Only struck out 8 times, so that's better. And, they do some, like I said, they do some things that go, okay, they load up the bases good. They had some good contact that inning where they loaded the bases. Victor Robles continues to be solid. I will say it's awesome how good Victor Robles has been. It's been a cool story. Good to see. The fact that Victor Robles is like the Mariners' best position player right now, probably not a good sign for the rest of the season. And honestly, I don't know if I'm joking about that. I kind of am, but now that I think about it, like, is he right now the Mariners' best position player? He gets a solid hit. JP hits the line out in the 3rd inning, but JP's not making up for it with other hits. But he does sting the line out. Rojas with a solid hit. Julio with a nice walk. I'm talking about the 3rd inning. Then Cal soft line out. Then in I believe it was the 5th inning, Luke Raley walks. Victor Robles lays down a really nice bunt, beats it out for a hit. And then again, JP pops up. You don't even move the runners over there. And I get it. And I'm someone that hasn't preached a lot of small ball on my channel. And I'm not saying like, oh, the Mariners can't move runners over. That's why they're not winning. They can't really do anything. They're not moving runners over. They're not bringing runners in. They're not doing a lot of things. So it's not just one little thing. But even there, you make the out, you get to a 3-ball count, you fly out. Runners don't even move up, or even if you can get a sac fly, maybe you cut into it. Then Rojas gets into a 3-0 count, ends up grounding into a double play. And there's just not, that's kind of something about with that fear with pitchers. Brown just, isn't scared to face Josh Rojas in that situation. Josh Rojas really isn't the problem with this team. He's a role player. He certainly dropped off after a hot start, but he's been okay. So, like I said, just overall, frustrating results, frustrating approach at the plate. In the 1st inning, they make Hunter Brown throw almost 30 pitches. I joked on Twitter, only the Mariners could make a starting pitcher throw 30 pitches and somehow still go down 1-2-3 an inning. And listen, long at-bats are great. Driving up a starting pitcher's pitch count is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You should want to drive up his pitch count, but you got to mix in runs with it. It's like a long drive in football. You can have 13, 15 play drives, but if they're not resulting in points, probably not the best analogy, because I think if you get 13, 15 play drives, you are going to score points. But you know what I mean, right? Like it's not gonna mean a whole lot if you're not putting points on the board. If you're missing field goals or turning it over or not converting 4th downs, kind of the same thing here. The 1st inning was nice. It was good to see some battles, but even there, they're fouling off middle pitches. Pitchers aren't afraid. Hunter Brown's just kind of throwing the fastball down the middle, and worst case was they were fouling it off. Good to drive up the pitch count, but where's driving the ball into the gap? I'd rather see Hunter Brown throw 13 pitches that inning and the Mariners put up some runs. If you can, obviously, like I said, better run up the pitch count than not, but not the result you're looking for. And we're at the stage of the season where I can't really evaluate things as I would have back in March or April. In April, I can sit there and say that's a good at-bat, that's a good process. Keep doing that, the results will happen. Well, there's 64 games left. The results need to happen. You've already lost the 10-game lead, and you've got a chance to still win the series. Feel good with George Kirby going tomorrow, and hopefully Brian Wu is solid on Sunday. A little surprised they didn't go with Logan Gilbert on Sunday, but, it is what it is. Hopefully Brian Wu pitches well in that game, and you can still win the series and walk out here with a 2-game lead. I'm not necessarily predicting that. I'm not necessarily super optimistic about that happening, but it is there in front of you to be done. I lost my train of thought there. I kind of went on a tangent, but yeah, so I can't really reward process right now because we're in the stretch run essentially with baseball. 64 games left. That's a lot of games, but it's also not a lot. It's a pretty small sample, so you've got to kick in a high gear here. And right now, it's the definition of need results. You've got to drive in the runs. I don't really care how, but you got to do it. And listen, good. I'm not trying to say good process isn't important. Good process will lead to good results. I'm not saying the Mariners' process was great tonight either. I'm just saying overall, I'm not trying to dismiss that, but we need results, and it's not happening. And it's like I can recycle a lot of post game recaps and throw it into this one. Good pitching, but the pitching has to be perfect to get wins, unfortunately. Castillo could have thrown 7 shutout and it would have been a no decision, so it shouldn't be that way, right? Like Logan Gilbert on Sunday, 7 shutout innings. Now we can debate if Gilbert should have stayed in or not. I made my point in my video that he should have stayed in. But regardless, what the managerial decisions are in a game like that, you shouldn't lose a game where Logan goes 7 shutout innings. You shouldn't lose a game where George Kirby gives up 2 over 6. I was listening to my buddy Jake raise the trident. He had Mariner Sir and I think Soto Mojo on. They did a little review last Monday. I was this point I was supposed to be on with them, had to work, couldn't make it, and they made some good point. I think it was Mariner Sir that said it. Like, Brian Wu in that start Friday against the Angels gave up like 4 runs in 3 2/3, and to us that's like the worst start ever. In reality, like most teams deal with that on a weekly basis. This starting pitching has had such good results that I look at Luis Castillo tonight and I sort of, like in the back of my, obviously I know he pitched well, but I kind of want to go meh, and I shouldn't. I shouldn't do that for a guy that goes 7 innings, 3 earned runs. That should be enough to win you some game. I'm not saying you're going to win every game you go 7 innings, 3 earned runs, but you should be able to win that sometime. And I could do the research on it, but I'm curious because I really feel like unless the Mariners starting pitching has been perfect, they've just not won a lot of games. And I don't think they've won a lot of games as the Stars giving up 3 or more runs. And listen, overall, you're probably not going to win a ton of those games. But if the Mariners won any, I think Logan gave up 3 earned runs in San Diego, but a little misleading. He gave it the 2-run home run was 8-1. Other than that, I just can't think of a lot. I'm sure they're there, but it should be more. You should at least win some of those. So hopefully they can bounce back tomorrow, get a W, get back into first place. Another game with first place on the line. It'd be great to find a way to win this series. This definitely felt like it was going to be a tough one. Like I said, with Hunter Brown, how well he's thrown the ball. Thing is, though, you're also not going to keep the Astros offense off the board. I know they scored 3 runs isn't a lot, but I know they obviously more than the Mariners by far, an infinite number more than the Mariners. But are you going to keep Jordan in the park all series? Are you going to be able to keep Altuve off the bases for the most part all series? Bregman, Yandy Diaz, not Yandy Diaz, Yainer Diaz, right? Yandy Diaz is the Rays player. Probably not. They're going to have better offensive games too. So I'm saying, truthfully, the Astros didn't have a great offensive game either. I think Jordan hit one to the warning track in the first inning, and then the Trey Cabbage double. Other than that, there's a lot of dink and dunk. Listen, I would kill for the Mariners to have some dink and dunk. They need more dink and dunks. I'm not taking away from the Astros at all there, but are you able to hold their offense in check the rest of the series? So, you had a chance tonight. You did. That's another frustrating loss because I do think it was a winnable game. Steele threw the ball well. You held the Astros offense. It's been good in check. You had some opportunities, not a lot, but you did have some. And going back to that Angels series where they just couldn't scratch out the runs. And then even, before that, they did sweep San Diego, which was nice. But before that, Toronto. We talked about that game. The last, 3 innings of that Sunday game, bases loaded, all 3 innings, nothing. Where's the big hit? Where's the person that's going to put the ball in the gap to ignite this team a little bit? So we'll see. Without Jorge Polanco had some better at-bats tonight. Double into the gap was good to see. He struck out, but it was on a terrible call. Not saying he would have reached base in that at-bat, but was punched down a bad call. And did look like he hit the ball pretty hard in the ninth. I didn't check the exit velo on it or anything, but did make some good contact. So Polanco playing better. I'm grasping. I'm looking for anything that can help ignite the team. And we'll see what happens. If you guys have NCAA 25, go play it. Recommend it. I will say in terms of you guys that come here for a video game breakdown, I'm not a gamer. So if you're someone that's kind of casual, I've turned on my PS5 like 3 times in the last year. Got NCAA 25. It has flaws, but it's a lot of fun. If you're just I think maybe hardcore gamers, I could see having flaws with it. It's EA, but I've been enjoying it. So if you're kind of a casual gamer, turn it on, start a dynasty. It's fun. It's a fun way to kill time, and it does a nice job capturing the college football pageantry and some of that stuff. A little repetitive at times, but it's fun. So if you're looking for something distracted from the Mariners, I would recommend that. Or a couple brewskis might help as well. Have a good night, everybody. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back tomorrow with the post-game recap. Go Mariners. Peace.